Pulse 2 Afterlife. I just finished recording my review for the first Pulse, and now I'm moving on to Pulse 2 Afterlife. The infection has spread. That's the tagline of this movie. The infection has spread. Um, so this is a sequel. Somehow, some way, it's connected to the first film. I don't know how. The only the only real connection that comes to mind is the pulse virus or the pulse infection. That's probably the only real connection to the first film, is they're back in it. But as far as cast and director goes, this has a completely different cast of characters and cast of actors, and we are following a brand new group of characters this time around, um, and it's directed and written by a totally different director to the first film. So Christian Bell, who was the main character in the first film, she doesn't come back in this movie, which is a shame, because if they ever decide to make a sequel based off that first film, like a proper sequel, I would love to see it with Christian Bell returning, but I don't think we will ever see that. Um, but as far as a straight to video, as far as a VOD film, as far as a VOD release, how is Pulse 2 Afterlife? So going into these like straight to video films, I tend to go easier on them because since they're made on lower budgets to the first film, I'm actually not sure what the budget is for the first film or Pulse 2. I actually have to look that up. But as of the time I'm recording this, I'm not really sure what the budget is. Um, but as far as a VOD film goes, this is actually pretty good. As far as characters go, our main character, Stephen, I believe his name was, and the mother figure, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but the only character I can remember from this film is Stephen. Like he's having a divorce, so there is some characterization for his character that we do. I guess, well, we don't really have sympathy for Stephen because he's kind of like he's this douchebag character that's like that he's this douchebag character that has affairs and um and all that. So you don't really, I guess, feel sympathy. But on the mother's side of things, there's also a kid. So she's kind of growing up like with all this like with all these problems between the mum and the father. But yeah, the mother is going through a difficult time where where her husband is having an affair, and then they get a divorce. Which this is all through narration, like they're going through, like I believe it was Stephen. I may be wrong there, but like Stephen, he's like on his computer and he's looking through all his like past emails, and there's this narration going on like saying like what's happened and like what's wrong with their relationship. So there is some characterization to our main characters, um, and there is a twist of sorts with the mother figure like where she was infected, and there's this whole like mystery and all that, which did surprise me when that was unfolding about halfway through the movie. Probably maybe about this was maybe about like 30 minutes into the movie. Um, so yeah, the main characters, they aren't completely bland. There is some characterization to be felt for these characters. As far as the acting goes, the acting, like, it isn't great by any means, but I felt like they did their job. I felt like every actor in this movie was pretty solid. The little girl, I thought she did a really good job in this movie. The actor who played Steven was also decent in the movie. So there was really no 10 out of 10 performance, um, but the performances are probably like I don't know, maybe like a 4 out of 10 and all that. So yeah, they all did their job well. The special effects, um, since this is a VOD film, the special effects aren't going to look like high budget or anything. But for what we got, the special effects looked actually really good, especially in the third act when we're actually seeing the pulse, like I guess ghost or whatever they are. When you actually start seeing them, like there's a few scenes I think towards the second act, heading into the third act, that actually look really good, like the special effects and the budget was well utilized on these scenes and really throughout the film. Like in Act 1, there was some really noticeable green screen, but it was nothing where I was just like, I'm rolling my eyes at the screen or anything. Like it was definitely noticeable, but like I said, passable. Like you can't expect like great green screen or great special effects in a VOD film. I mean, I think they could have fixed up or tweaked the green screen in the first act because there's scenes of and the mother character, I believe it was, like walking through the town, and and you can just tell that she's standing in front of a green screen. Like it's so noticeable, and like why couldn't they just film it in in a real city, like or a real town? Sorry, um, like that wouldn't that have just been easier instead of like half-assing it and putting a green screen? But yeah. Anyways, besides that, the film isn't really scary. It's not as memorable either as the first film, but like I had fun with it. Is it a movie I'm going to go back and watch like again? No, I'm in no rush to go back and revisit this movie. Um, but as for a first viewing of Pulse 2 Afterlife, I enjoyed it. It's, yeah, like it was the first time viewing. I didn't really have any expectations for any of these movies, as I said in my review for the first Pulse. I went into Pulse with zero expectations, and um, same with the sequel. I had no high expectations going in. Um, it's yeah, there's not really much else to say besides that. But yeah, they are my quick thoughts on Pulse 2 Afterlife. Let me know down in the comments, have you seen Pulse 2 Afterlife? If so, let me know what did you think of it down in the comment sections down below. So anyways guys, I hope you have a good rest of your night or morning, wherever you are. See ya.